Your Buffalo Bills defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 47-10 on Monday Night Football. We are going to recap the entire win, that 3-0 start for the Buffalo Bills this season. Let's go.
To my friend Nate and all the listeners of this podcast, no one circles the wagon, and Nate escaped. Circle the wagons, Buffalo. Right here. Let's go, Buffalo. The Bills make me wanna.
Hey, Bills Mafia. Welcome to this Circling the Wagons recap edition of the Buffalo Bills. As you can see, these slides are wrong. I finished the slides when the Bills were up 44-10, and they ended up getting another field goal. So 47-10 this week. And the vibes are good, man. The vibes are tremendous. I'm doing this episode solo this week, so appreciate you guys sticking in with me. I want to show you a quick meme that I posted on social media. Those Mafia feeling it at 3-0. Look at these vibes. Look at them. A tweet that said I saw a funny tweet that said, okay, we went from Tom Brady being in the AFC East for 20 years to now Josh Allen being in the AFC East for the next 15 years. And I love it, man. This was a dominating game overall, very from front to back. I mean, it was funny. Last week I joked around that, I was washing dishes, making kids lunches and stuff like that last week. This week was very similar. It was not stressful at all. Who loves that? Right? You guys loving that? This is the least stressful it's ever been to be a Bills fan. I was telling the European fans, I was like, hey, you guys have been up for hours. This was, I think it was a 1 o'clock or 1:30 kickoff for you guys, 1:30 in the morning. I said, go to sleep, enjoy this. And they're like, oh no. Oh no. The European fans are like, oh hell no. We stayed up for this. I'm gonna enjoy this. There's no stress. I'm gonna sleep well tonight. So thank you guys all for joining us. Mike and John couldn't be here. It's a late night, and I'm not going to take up too much of your time. This was a fun game. This was a domination, another great coaching, scheming game for the offense, Joe Brady and the offense, Bobby Babbage and the defense, and just front to back. I mean, there was, for the beginning of the game, the Jaguars have a really good run defense. The Bills were able to run the ball. They played a lot of man coverage. The Bills were able to pass the ball. Josh Allen got in the mix. He had some good runs too. The defense has some great stops. I mean, just thinking about, some of the big plays, the Damar Hamlin interception, the Jamarcus Ingram sack. Von Miller had a big sack on 4th and goal. A lot of great plays by the Buffalo Bills today. And it's going to be hard when we go into the Wall of Shame segment. It's going to be a tough one because there was a lot of good in this win. So much more good. I really got to really think to find some negative views. So we're going to go from there real quick. Let's go into stat of the game. Low Bills in this one, like I mentioned, 47-10. We have, by the way, you guys are kind of paying attention to that Bengals Commanders game. Woo! Dude, this might be a good team. This might be the best time for the Bills to get hot. Now, I know the Chiefs are 3-0, but it's a lot different 3-0 than the Buffalo Bills 3-0. Not all 3-0s are created equal, and I think that we can all agree on that after watching the Bills trounce the Jaguars. To send the Jaguars 0-3, I was worried going into this game that, you have a team that won 5 of 6 games at the end of last season to make the playoffs, a team that in the Jaguars that, has a pretty good up-and-coming quarterback, a team that had its back up against the wall at 0-2. And coming into Buffalo, I'm like, the Jaguars have had the Bills numbers the last few years. I remember the 2015 game where EJ Manuel started for the Buffalo Bills and they could not wear it. He basically gave that game away to the Jaguars in London. And ever since then, it feels like the Bills have been cursed when playing the Jaguars. And then the Jaguars are coming into Buffalo, 0-2, backs up against the wall. It's just like that wild animal, man, that wild Jaguar, right? That wild cat. You don't want to back them into a corner because then they're just fighting for their lives, right? But that was not the case in this game. The Buffalo Bills handled them. They basically just set them really nicely in the cage and then just closed the door. Like there was no fight. There was no fight at all. So really great game by the Buffalo Bills. Stats of the game: Josh Allen, 263 yards passing, 23 for 30, 4 touchdown passes, and just a great line item. Just a great stat line for Josh Allen. Josh Allen rushing the ball, leading rusher for the Buffalo Bills, 6 attempts, 44 yards. Now, I did not think that Josh Allen was going to run the ball nearly as much as he did. Definitely not being the leading rusher just because of that left hand that he injured a couple of weeks ago. I thought he was going to try to not really, put himself out there and potentially injure it even more. But he did 6 rushes, just kept going at it. James Cook, 11 carries for 39 yards. Ray Davis, 7. He had a touchdown too. James Cook had a touchdown rushing. Ray Davis had a touchdown rushing, 7 carries for 22 yards. Ty Johnson, 3 carries for 18 yards. Leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills, Khalil Shakir, the human pinball, right? The Buffalo Bills pinball. Khalil Shakir, the big dumb QB haver with that nickname. 6 for 6 on targets and receptions, 72 yards and a touchdown. James Cook, 4 receptions on 5 targets for 48 yards. Dalton Kincaid, 3 receptions on 5 targets for 41 yards and a touchdown. Ty Johnson, 3 receptions on 3 targets for 28 yards and a touchdown. Keon Coleman, 1 reception on 1 target for 24 yards and a touchdown. His first career NFL touchdown for the rookie. Curtis Samuel, 3 receptions on 3 targets for 22 yards. And great game for the Buffalo Bills offensively. On the defensive side of the ball, Damar Hamlin had the interception, which I mentioned earlier. Sacks on the game: AJ Epinesa had a sack, Jamarcus Ingram had a sack, Casey Toohill had a sack, Javon Solomon had a sack at the end of the game, and then we have Von Miller, of course, with the sack. Just great domination. Like I said, both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Tremendous. If we want to look at the Jaguars side of the ball, a very pedestrian game for Trevor Lawrence, which, continues the streak of Sean McDermott playing well against young quarterbacks. 21 for 38, 178 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Travis Etienne had 120 or 130 yards against the Buffalo Bills last time they played against each other. Only 11 carries, 68 yards. He had 6.2 yards per carry, but Christian Kirk, leading receiver for the Jaguars, 8 receptions on 10 targets for 79 yards. Brian Thomas Jr., 5 receptions on 9 targets for 48 yards. He looked good. Be very excited if I was a Jaguars fan. Now, if I was a Bills fan and we had him, obviously be excited about them, but we have a good rookie wide receiver, so not too worried there. Gabe Davis, 3rd leading wide receiver, 2 receptions on 6 targets for 18 yards, 0 touchdowns. That is a pretty good Gabe Davis stat line. Very familiar with that. So we have that. I put a bet in for a Gabe Davis touchdown, anytime touchdown, because I was thinking, hey, revenge game, right? Revenge game for Gabe Davis. That is not the case. And that's about it. Stats of the game. That was stats of the game. All right. Now let's go into Sweet Sassy Molassy play of the game. All right. Sweet Sassy Molassy plays of the game. There's so many to choose with this one. Let's see. Man, if I had to go between the Damar Hamlin interception. Now, there's so many good touchdowns. You have the Cook 7-yard touchdown to start the game. The Kincaid 6-yard touchdown as Josh Allen was scrambling around, and he hits Kincaid and 24-yard touchdown. I mean, that was just a great play. Catches him in the open field. Lots of yards after catch today. I know the Jaguars led the NFL in yards after catch, but the Bills did great in that area, including the Coleman 24-yard touchdown. That was great to see. Man, and the Ty Johnson 17-yard touchdown catch was a great play. Ray did. I gotta go. It's weird. I gotta go with the Damar Hamlin interception. I think only because it was as important as it was. The Bills' pass defense shut down Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked great this season in general, but the Bills continue to do that even while missing Terrell Bernard, Taron Johnson, and Matt Milano, of course. They just look great. And Damar Hamlin with the interception, with everything he's gone. I mean, you got to hand the ball. Yeah, you got to give him the sweet Sassy Molassy play of the game for that one. I loved it. It was great to see him. I'm really happy with where Damar Hamlin has come thus far. So we'll see if he can keep that up. Honorable mention to the Von Miller 4th and goal sack against Trevor Lawrence. This was when the game was out of reach, but still an important sack. Stop the Jaguars. Von Miller. I know. Let's go right into our wall of shame, wall of fame, and wall of shame. Let's start with our wall of fame. Josh Allen. It's got to be Josh Allen. I mentioned the stat line earlier. He was just in control all game. What I love about this offense, and credit to Joe Brady for making it this way. This offense it reminds me a little bit of the Chiefs. Take that ball and then turn the corner, take it down the sideline for another 4 or 5 yards after the catch. And sometimes it's guys open, and it's giving Josh Allen a lot of freedom, so where he doesn't have to take like a 7-step drop and just force the ball downfield. It always seems manageable. It never seems like it's like a 3rd and 28 or whatever. I love the way that Josh played. I love the way that Joe Brady has dialed up the offense. So I'm going to give it to Josh Allen, but honorable mention to Joe Brady, and obviously honorable mention to the defense in general. The pass rush, the coverage, the run defense. I mean, there's not a whole lot of holes in this team right now. So, especially in this game. So big hats off to the Bills offense and Josh Allen and Joe Brady there in doing that. Well, let's see. Man, who are we going to give the wall of shame to? Let's see. Wall of shame. Man, I mean, it's hard to come up with one. If I had to come up with one, I guess Tyler Bass, but I mean, he made up for it during the game by hitting 2 field goals. So I don't even want to give it to Tyler Bass. But I mean, if I have to, he was 2 for 2 on field goals. He missed one of the extra points. But he was 5 for 6. So, but it was early in the game, so I think it was. I can't even give it to anyone, to be honest. You know what I'm going to give it to? The fact that I had to get a subscription to Fubo in order to watch ESPN to watch this game because I don't have ESPN. Just getting annoying. Like, I miss the days where the Bills were on prime time as much as they are now. I'm so glad that we have that. One thing I'm not happy about is how I have to get a different. So if I'm going to have to give a wall of shame, it's the fact that the NFL is going through ESPN, Peacock, Amazon Prime, who knows what else, Netflix, PBS Kids. I don't know anything else. That's an annoying part of this. So don't have a lot of wall of shame candidates, but man, lots of great things to see. So some other stats I didn't get a chance to share from this game. Some stats in this 47-10 victory. Let's see. 10 different Bills have caught a pass tonight, marking the 10th time in team history the Bills have reached that mark. It's the first time the Bills have done so since a team record 11 players caught a pass in 2022 at Miami. Casey Toohill recorded his first sack as a Bill, marking the 4th time the Bills have sacked quarterback Trevor Lawrence tonight, and that eventually obviously became a 5th sack. Von Miller with a sack in all 3 of the Bills' games this season. He's now tied with Derek Thomas for the number 17 spot on NFL's all-time sack list. This marks the 3rd time in Von Miller's career where he's recorded a sack in the first 3 games of the season. The first half, where the Bills scored 5 touchdowns on 5 straight drives in a game, was the last time that happened was in 2011 not following us on Twitter, please do. We're at CTW Pod. All social media, we're at. Check us out on Instagram. If you want to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. This is after every game I say for the Bills win. I ask Bills Mafia, and I'm going to start with Swank. Just haven't seen it at all. Yeah, this is crazy. This is a good time, man. I don't think my blood pressure even went above whatever my normal blood pressure is. Not that much this game, which is nice on Swank. So let's go to Karen Poole. Let's go Buffalo. LFG. Let's freaking go. Take it all the way through February, man. This of all years, wouldn't it be crazy? And I kind of said it tongue in cheek earlier about the Bills offense. Like, there's no area where the Buffalo Bills feel like they have to force feed anyone. And it kind of opens up the offense a lot. It's almost like Josh can continually just, hey, sorry about that. Everyone lost it for a second. I was going over tweets just then. So I'm going to find out exactly where I left off. And then go from there. Apologize for anyone watching this live, wondering where I left off. Going to read a few more tweets. I just got to read. So these are the tweets I definitely have to read if I did get a chance to. AJ Tharp, first Cardinals, then the Dolphins, now the Jaguars. The Animal Kingdom is on notice. Josh Allen needs to open a soup kitchen because he's feeding everyone. 10 different receivers caught passes. Didn't even know we had 10. Christian, I know, right? They have what, 5 wide receivers on the roster, so that's crazy. Didn't even know we had 10. Christian Benford is the next Kyle Williams. He is him. I love this. Michael Graham saying this might be the best Bills offense I've seen in the 31 years I've been on this earth. Josh Allen is the best QB in the league. What was that one guy's name on the team last year? Dags? I don't know. Who cares? Joshua Patrick Allen is him. Go Bills. Man, the Bills have all the momentum this season. It just feels like Red Helmet guy said, same for listening. It's a late night, obviously, but I wanted to get a chance to talk to you about what's going on. This huge over the Jacksonville Jaguars, 47-10. Thank you guys all for contributing. Thank you guys all for listening, for watching, wherever you're getting out there. Sorry for the internet connection. It's one of those things that's funny. Like, I don't have issues, streaming anything. And then all of a sudden, I have a hardwired connection to my laptop and then I have an issue. Go figure. But anyways, thank you guys all for listening. Thank you guys for contributing. Thank you guys for following, liking, subscribing. Be sure to check out all the tweets and the memes that we're going to send up this next week for the Buffalo Bills. But again, thank you guys all for listening, viewing. For me, Nate, go Bills, and we'll talk to you guys again next week.